Hi, folks. Jack O'Malley. New year, new look. I just turned the camera around. Had a nice couple of weeks. Read a book. Had some time with my wife, and I cleaned the bunker up a little bit. And still a little bit of stuff in the corner there you might see, and over my other shoulder. But I'm working on cleaning it all out. So I thought, new year, let's take a different approach. Want to touch base with you on a couple of things. Even though it was the holidays, things happening, right? Probably the number one thing here is the presidential electors and the vote in Washington. Ted Cruz is leading the charge on a 10-day pause, which I guess was once done in 1877. They did this with the electoral votes. But what Cruz said is they're not trying to thwart the democratic process. They expect that they don't have the votes to change anything, but they said support for election integrity should not be a partisan issue. I think we should all agree to that. But what Senator Cruz is saying is, and those that are behind this letter, is that a fair audit done before January 20th would dramatically improve Americans' faith in our process. And what I think is important is a couple of little things. One, this particular, people are saying, oh, it's the end of democracy if they challenge this or they challenge that. This has all happened in the past. So some people are saying, well, when Trump won 4 years ago, there was no challenge. Actually, there was. It wasn't a very good one, but some Democratic representative challenged, but she couldn't get a senator to join in, so nothing happened. Back in 2005, when Bush was reelected, there was some objections. So to have objections is nothing new. It's just hasn't gone anywhere, and nobody really expects this one to have anything to change either. Even Ted Cruz is saying that. So I guess the first thing is when people say, oh, this is the end of democracy if we challenge this, that's hogwash. It's happened before, hasn't gone anywhere, and no one really expects this one to happen either. So the challenge itself to say, oh, it's terrible, they can't do it, it's been done before. No new ground, just an FYI. Also, I want you to know that incoming Speaker Wentworth has said, and I know he'll do it, we are going to have vigorous investigation into Michigan's system. One of the things that Senator Cruz and his bunch are saying is a fair audit done for the 20th would dramatically improve America's faith in our process. Ladies and gentlemen, I can't speak to the rest of the country, but I can speak to Michigan. And that is, we will investigate. We will find out what needs to be fixed. And there's always something that can be fixed, right? Our mail-in balloting was new this time. There are things we need to do to adjust that and make sure that it moves smoother next time. Now, just for an FYI here, some of you probably already know this, but I've had enough people say to me, well, Benson can't she just implemented this mail-in ballot system and she can't do that. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2018, the people of Michigan had a ballot proposal, and they chose the no excuse absentee ballot. It wasn't Benson. As much as I'm not a big fan of Secretary Benson, the people of Michigan voted that in 2 years ago. And so we've had our first major election with it. There were some snafus. I'm sure we need to adjust and make sure things are right moving forward. The other thing is, if there is fraud found, that is illegal, and punishments will be swift. So if we find that someone has done something illegal, they will be prosecuted. Well, that is if Attorney General Nessel agrees to do it. You know what I mean? So we'll move forward. We will restore integrity and trust in our system. I think it's still there, but yes, it needs work and it needs changes. And I believe Representative Ann Boleyn, who is a former clerk, is going to be very much involved in that. So I salute her, and I'll do anything I can to help her in that investigation. So we move forward. A couple other things that happened over the Christmas break. You may have read the news. The governor got out her veto pen again. A couple of things she vetoed was the Senate version of my bill that didn't make it through, but the Senate one did. Senate Bill 1253 that said the Department of Health and Human Services can only implement pandemic rules for 28 days, and then they have to come back to the legislature for re-up and reapproval, just like the 1976 emergency management law does for the governor. And she vetoed it. Of course not. She's not going to do anything to let anything take care, put any kind of an infringements on her, even though many believe she is ruling by fiat as opposed to in a representative type of government. And it's just ridiculous. So I wanted you to know she vetoed that. The other one that she vetoed that was kind of funny, not funny, was there was a Senate bill that would have repealed the 1945 Emergency Act that the Supreme Court ruled basically unconstitutional, her interpretation of it. Now, that didn't eliminate the law. We wanted to take it off the books. And if you remember, there was a petition still waiting to be certified signatures by Secretary of State Benson. She's dragging her heels. So we were going to say, let's just remove it, Governor. It's useless. Let's get it out of there. Vetoed it. Governor Whitmer. The other thing that she did that was kind of shocking was we passed the supplemental with things in it, but one of the things was that one bill said, hey, we're going to extend unemployment from 20 to 26 weeks. Okay. But we said you got to put in a certain amount of money, at least $220 million into the unemployment fund to make this happen, the extension to go forward, because you got to have the money, right? Here's an important thing to remember. When we started this pandemic, or when it began, let's put it that way, our unemployment trust fund was gold, $4.5 billion. Our economy under President Trump was robust, and we had great unemployment. It was like 3.7%. So our unemployment trust fund was great. We went from $4.5 billion in April to like 800 and some million right now. So we're saying, hey, we got to put more money into it, right? Because you keep laying people off instead of keeping the things open. So the former Speaker Chatfield's press secretary pointed to language in the Senate bill that states the extension of benefits for claims for weeks beginning January 1 through April 1, as described in subsection blah, blah, does not take effect unless $220 million or more is appropriated as provided in Senate Bill number 748. The governor says, oh, no, that isn't what it says. It says, I can extend the unemployment, but we're saying you got to have the money to do it. The other thing that I think is important, but the governor, either she goofed or she's ridiculously political, or both. The other thing that I think is important for people to understand is the Unemployment Trust Fund. This is just another way currently for employers to be screwed. All right. So here's what happens when I run Jack's whatever, and I lay people off. I am paying part of my dues as an employer. Part of my thing is I pay into the unemployment fund. And if more people I lay off, the more check boxes I get by my name, so that Jack's company has to pay more money into the unemployment fund because I'm laying more people off, right? So what's happened is during the pandemic here, the governor's laying people off left and right, because ultimately she is, by shutting everybody down. So employers, their rankings going up, and they're not being held harmless. It's like, we're not laying these people off because we're laying them off. We're laying them off because you're forcing us to, because we got to close down. So the governor is just, I think, way out of line here. But she's claiming, oh, no, we can extend it, the unemployment benefits, and that $220 million that isn't going to go into the unemployment trust fund, that's not my fault. Governor, you screwed up. And it's just ridiculous. So we begin again. And, I want you to know as we move forward here, I'm going to continue doing updates. When I started, I've done 187 of them in my first term, and I'm going to continue to do them. Right now I'm doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. In the future here, I'm going to relook. Maybe it's 2 days a week. But right now, we'll continue Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and we'll adjust as we go. But I promise you that, as I've said from the beginning of these updates, you can agree or disagree. That's fine. I realize that not everybody's going to agree with me. Not everybody's going to like me, even though I'm lovable. I've come to terms with that. But I'm going to tell you what I think and what I see, and I'm going to try and lay it out as straightforward as I can. You're the ultimate juror, whether you agree with me or not, and that's fine. But I want you to hear it, and I'm going to do my best to be transparent and let you know where I stand. We're going to agree. We're going to disagree. That's okay. But we got to talk. We've got to have that communication, because what's happened is we've gotten so much of this. So we've got to keep talking, and that's what I'm going to try and do. So, all right, we are here in 2021, my second term of hopefully 3 terms as a state representative for the Fighting 101. I'm Jack O'Malley. I hope you had a great Christmas. I know there's still rough times out there, but we're still fighting. We're still in this, and we move forward. So here's to 2021, and let's be safe out there, all right? And let's keep praying for each other, because we need those prayers, all right? Talk to you again on Wednesday.